Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So, wow, that IKORIA reveal was just... I don't even have the words to describe how amazing that actually was. I knew it would be involving big monsters because they've been tweeting several spoilers throughout the week, kind of referring to things with like big massive footprints and just shit like that. And we did see some Godzilla cards that were kind of leaked last week, but I actually questioned whether or not they were actually real or not, but turns out they actually are. So basically what's happened is Wizards of the Coast, in the process of designing their cards for this set, were approached by their Japanese team and wanted to know if they were interested in actually potentially getting use of the Toho monsters. And of course, who wouldn't? Like, that's like the coolest shit ever. So yeah, this actually is a collaboration with Toho. And so we have creatures like Godzilla and Ghidorah as actual playable creatures in IKORIA, which is just the coolest thing ever. So basically in this video, I just kind of wanted to go over the new mechanics that they've decided to implement this time, and then have a look at some of the cards that they've actually revealed today. Now I won't have the time to actually go through every single card because I think there's like, at this stage, there's about 50 cards that they've revealed now. I've kind of left this video a little bit late to make because I wanted to try and get a little bit more cards in than a lot of the people who would have put early videos out. So in saying that, let's go and jump into some of the mechanics and cards. Okay, so the first mechanic that they're implementing here is mutate. So basically, cards will have the ability of mutate with a special cost that you have to pay. And once you've paid those costs, you can essentially merge two creatures together. And now the cool thing about this is you will also add together the power and toughness, as well as all the abilities that all the creatures that you have mutate together. So you can actually customize and make really big creatures with like real wacky combinations of abilities. So it really is going to be a set that really sort of emphasizes on like that customization and unique sort of a flair for each player to kind of do what they really want to do. So you can see here in this little clip here that Wizards have put out, they're kind of explaining how it all works. And yeah, you can expect a lot of creatures to have this ability in this set. Okay, so this mechanic is known as Companion. So basically, if you have a creature with Companion and you want to have it as your companion, you can put it into your deck in your sideboard. So it's not even part of your top 60 cards. And if you meet the requirements to essentially have it as your companion, then you can pretty much just cast it whenever you want, kind of like you would a commander if you're playing commander. And the one thing though is as soon as the card is actually put into play, then it's fair game for all. So as you can see, if someone decides to cast murder on this little, I don't know, it's like a hippo or some shit, a dinosaur hippo, then it's dead, and then you can't re-summon like you would say with like a commander would. But I can see some real shenanigans that would be put into play with these cards, especially when you have that looming threat of a potential companion to come out at the right time. It's going to be real jank. Okay, so there's two more mechanics that they've implemented in IKORIA. The first one being counters. So there'll be cards, you'll probably see some in a minute when I show you some of the cards that they revealed, that allow counters to be put onto other creatures. So say for example you just have a 1/1 human creature out in the field and you have a card that produces counters, you'll be able to put things like Menace, First Strike, Hexproof, Lifelink, +1/+1, Reach, all the ones here you can see, onto these creatures that don't actually have those abilities, in a sense, making them different to how they were. Now, for those of you who play paper Magic, they're actually, I don't know if they're selling them or they're giving them out. I'm not too sure how it exactly works. I haven't really announced it, I don't think, but they have these like pop-out cards, like you can see here, that you can use to place on all of your creatures as you need to. And the other mechanic that they have is cycling, which is one that is actually a really old mechanic that got brought back for Monstercat in 2017. And I think there was another set that came out a couple years after. I think it might have been one of the Modern Masters sets. So yeah, for those of you that don't really know what that is, that's just basically using the card that you're with the cycling ability to discard it and draw another card. So you're essentially cycling the cards through. I'm not too quite sure how that's going to work in this setting, but I'm sure as we see more cards come out over the next 7 to 8 days, we'll kind of get a better picture of like how that kind of fits into the equation. Okay, so this is some of the new cards that they revealed for IKORIA. A lot of these are the alternate arts. So for example, this Lunar Apex of Wishes is the alternate art, but the Ghidorah card is also considered to be an Lunar Apex of Wishes card, as with Godzilla and all the other monster cards that they have in the set. They have like small flavor text underneath the title, like sort of, he'll have like Ghidorah, whatever he's called, at the top, and then in smaller flavor text it has a Lunar Apex of Wishes. So even though it's a Lunar and you treat it as a Lunar, you can have the Ghidorah card in your deck. So technically you could have one of the original Lunar, you could have one of, I think it's got just this one alternate art, and then you could have 2 Ghidorahs, and it's considered to have be 4 of the one copy of the one card. So that's how that works. But this card in itself is just like, at face value, it just looks really scary. So it's got the mutate ability of 3 costs with green or red and 2 blues. It has flying and trample, and whenever it mutates, you have to exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land permanent, and then put that card onto the battlefield or into your hand. Now, I had a bit of a look around, and if you mutated that with the Godzilla card, like it's insane. Like these creatures that we're potentially going to be able to make in the games are just going to be so huge and unheard of, like with the most insane combo abilities. Like it's just, the power creep of this set is just right through the roof. Like I'm still kind of reeling from the reveal at the potential for like the combos that we're going to see, and like we've only seen 50 cards of the set, so as more cards release over the next 7 days, we're just going to probably see even more crazy and bizarre things. So moving on, obviously we've got Kruger, which I've already shown you before, just as an example too, with his companion ability. As you can see, to have him as your companion, your deck needs to contain cards that have only a mana cost of 3 or greater. So you can't have any 1 or 2 drops, and then if you satisfy that that sort of like rules there, you can play him from your sideboard, like I mentioned before. But the good thing that like their companion requirements generally seem to correlate with their ability for when they enter the battlefield. So for example, with Kruger, when he enters the battlefield, you get to draw a card for each other permanent you control with converted mana cost 3 or greater. So it would be a good card to play late game, and you've got like a full board of, say, I don't know, 5 to 10 creatures, because then you'll be able to draw 5 to 10 cards. Maybe not late game, but you kind of get the gist of what I'm going with that. So moving on, we've got Luca, who is the new Planeswalker. Now, obviously we saw Vivian in the trailer as well, which I've got playing in the background here. So she's also in the set, but Luca's the new one. He seems pretty cool. Like I like his style and what he's wearing, and I can see him being a mainstay in the Magic world. Obviously he's got his little flying tiger thing. I'm not too sure what that is yet, but I'm sure we'll see a card of that creature at some point. We've got the Luminous Brood Moth, which is just a flying creature, and obviously Vivian, as I just said before. So she's got actually the alternate art for that card is pretty cool. It's sort of anime style, which is pretty neat. Zagoth Mamba, fully grown. What does this one do? So that's just a +3/+3 with a trample token. That's pretty cool. Drannith Stinger, so that's a human. So the thing is, I don't think there's going to be very many humans, because from watching the reveal, they're saying that IKORIA is kind of like, there are humans in IKORIA, but they're constantly struggling to combat these big monsters. So there's big monsters and there's little monsters, but there's monsters everywhere. So it's definitely like a human versus monster sort of environment. So the humans that we do see will be very few, I feel. So we got a Vadrock, Apex of Thunder. It seems pretty cool. It's an elemental dinosaur cat. So it's got a mutate there too. It's got all these cards with mutate have got like 2 like real good abilities. So this one's got flying and first strike. I just feel there's going to be some really good combos here. Lutri the Spell Chaser, an elemental otter. Companion as well with flash. It's pretty sweet. We got a Void Beckoner, Huntmaster Liger. It's got mutate. The Cloud Piercer, which we've already shown. A Gloom Pangolin. It's pretty cute for a little black creature. Just a 1/5. Now there is a card. When I get to it, I'll come back to this card. This 1/5 card. So Snapdax, Apex of the Hunt. So he's another one that seems pretty cool. He reminds me of is it Raikou from Pokemon? Raikou. I think it's Raikou. A dinosaur cat nightmare with mutate. Okay, now I'm pretty sure that is the one that... No, it's not. I'll come back to that card. It's a good card anyway. That's a good card that you would definitely want to try and play. Titanoth Rex. Now he looks fucking huge. To put it quite simply, he's a big boy. And it has the cycling mechanic that I mentioned before with Trample. When you cycle Titanoth Rex, put a trample counter on target creature you control. That's pretty cool. Poliwag Symbiote. Now, that sounds like Poliwag from Pokemon to me. I definitely feeling the Pokemon vibe in this set too. And for those of you that don't know, Wizards of the Coast also do make the Pokemon trading card game as well. So it's no surprise really when you think about it. Garuda Doom of Depths is a legendary Demon Kraken. It's a companion. Emori the Collector. Kind of looks like one of those Ooze cards. Oh, it is Ooze. As a companion, each non-land card in your starting deck shares a card type. As Emori the Collector enters the battlefield, choose a card type. Spells you cast of the chosen type cost 1 less to cast. Oh, that would be good for like tribal decks, I guess. Anyway, so this is the showcase alternate version. So obviously we have Godzilla, King of the Monsters, which is actually Zalotha, the Strength Incarnate. It has Trample, and it has an ability that lethal damage dealt to creatures you control is determined by their power rather than their toughness, and that's pretty crazy. Mothra, good old Mothra, she's in here as well. If you've seen the latest Godzilla movie, you'd be quite familiar with Mothra. She's in there as well as Godzilla's queen. She's a flying creature for obvious reasons, because she's a moth. Ghidorah, that card looks so fucking sick. Like, I will literally be trying to buy that one physically. That card in foil will be worth a lot of money. I can guarantee it. That is amazing artwork. I love that card so much. So this is like one of those anime styled sort of alternates I was telling you about. So this is the one for Luca. We got Space Godzilla Void Invader. We got a Huntmaster Liger anime style. Badrock's there. Godzilla Primeval Champion. So there's more than one Godzilla card, so that's quite interesting. 1111. That is mental. Baby Godzilla. It's pretty cute. Creature Frog. Oh, I guess because it's a Poliwag symbiote, so that's the alternate art for the Poliwag. Okay, fair enough. Alright, Radahn. Radahn's in the last Godzilla movie as well. Pretty cool. Definitely see that movie if you haven't seen it, because that's an amazing movie, by the way. And then we've got some of the Commander cards as well. I don't play that much Commander. I know a lot of people will probably give me shit for that because it's one of the most popular formats in Magic at the moment, but because I mainly play Arena, until they actually bring that format to Arena, I'm probably not going to play it, to be realistic. But I can appreciate it, like having a card made up of 100, or having a deck made up of 100 cards with one of each copy. That's a hard deck to kind of really create any kind of type of synergy with, especially when there's so many cards to pick from as well. Like, you can be quite creative with that, and I think with this new set, it's going to make it even more creative. So it'll be interesting to see how this set actually does affect the Commander format as well. So yeah, we have Calamax, the Storm Sire. He's pretty cool. Now I believe this Jarina chick is Luca's partner, and her dad is like some general in the whatever city that they're from as well, so there's like some conflict there. When I read the ebook, I'll have a bit more information into that as well. We have Casserole, Aspect Warper, and Trimi the Ever Playful, and Garvey the Nest Warden. Okay, so as you can see, Ikoria is full of these amazing, massive, huge creatures and monsters. We're going to see a lot of crazy things, a lot of insane combos and combinations of cards just from the mutations alone. The companion mechanic is going to be an interesting thing to follow as well, see how that works, particularly with Commander, as I said as well. I think the date that it's going to be released on Arena is April 16th. So that will be the first time that any of us will be able to actually play these cards. The paper release has been postponed until May, due to obvious reasons to do with the virus and social distancing and all that kind of stuff. So if you only play paper and you want to play Ikoria, you need to actually play on, or they might actually be putting it on MTGO, I'm not too sure, but I definitely know Arena is like April 16th, so that's where I'll be. So hopefully I'll see you guys on Arena on April 16th. In saying that, don't forget to follow me down on my socials. I'm ScalarDave MTG on Instagram and Twitter. Starting to get a bit of traction on Instagram, which is really good. Really appreciating the love that I'm getting there on my posts. It's pretty much just sort of like behind the scenes teasers and a few sort of janky meme combo highlight videos that I've put together from just playing games throughout the week. So definitely go and check that out if that's the kind of thing that you're into. Please consider liking this video if you thought it was informative. And also, if you would consider subscribing, that would be a massive help as well. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. I know it doesn't sound like much, but if I can get to 100 subscribers in the next 3 months, I will be a very happy man. Yeah, I might leave it at that. Thank you very much for watching this video. It's taken me a lot of effort to actually put this all together. Hopefully it's worth it. So on that note, I will see you all in the next video, and yeah, I'll see you then. See ya.